The vast darkness of space surrounded the Zarlak mothership. Inside, Commander Vexthor stared at the blue planet on the main screen. Earth. A small, water-filled world at the edge of an ordinary galaxy. The commander's four eyes narrowed as he studied the readings. Another primitive world, he said to his science officer. Barely into their digital age, no proper space travel. Easy to add to our collection. The science officer, a thin, gray alien named Kelnar, looked unsure. Sir, our scans show unusual patterns in their conflict history. These humans fight with great skill, and all primitive species fight. Vexthor cut him off. That's why we send in the war beasts first. Standard procedure. Vexthor had conquered 12 worlds for the Dominion. Each victory brought him honor and rank. Earth would be number 13. A simple, routine mission. Prepare the first batch of war beasts, he ordered. Target the least populated regions first. Let them grow and multiply before moving to the cities. In his private chamber later, Vexthor recorded his mission log. Earth Conquest, Day 1. These humans appear weak. Their weapons are chemical-based projectiles and simple explosives. Their nations remain divided. They will fall quickly, like all the others before them. Alan Griffin checked his watch. Almost midnight. His patrol through Silver Creek National Park was nearly done. At 52, Alan had been a park ranger for over 20 years. He knew every trail, tree, and animal. Sound in these Montana woods tonight felt different, quieter. The usual cricket songs and owl hoots were missing. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Alan looked up at the night sky. The stars shone bright against the black backdrop. Then he saw it. 3 fast streaks of light. Not shooting stars. These moved too straight. Too purposeful. Probably just satellites, he muttered to himself. But something in his gut didn't feel right. His radio crackled. Alan, you headed back soon? It was Betty from the ranger station. On my way now. Hey, did you see those lights in the sky? A pause. What lights? Never mind, see you in 15. Alan started his truck and drove down the forest road. The headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating pine trees on both sides. Something large crossed the road ahead, too big for a deer moving too fast. He slammed the brakes. The truck skidded to a stop. What the hell was that? Alan grabbed his flashlight and stepped out. The forest had gone completely silent now. He swept the light across the trees. Nothing moved. He walked a few steps into the woods, the pine needles crunching under his boots. The light caught something shiny on a tree trunk. He moved closer. 3 deep gashes cut into the bark, still oozing sap. Each slash was wider than his hand, too big for any bear or mountain lion. A twig snapped behind him. Alan spun around, heart pounding. His light beam caught a pair of reflective eyes about 7 feet off the ground. Not animal eyes. These had rectangular pupils that narrowed in the light. The creature growled, a sound like metal grinding against stone. Holy. Alan fumbled for the pistol on his belt, but even as his fingers touched the grip, he knew it wouldn't be enough. The thing lunged. In the brief flash of movement, Alan saw gray-green scaled skin, massive jaws and claws that gleamed like steel. He fired twice before the beast slammed into him. Pain exploded across his chest. He hit the ground hard, still gripping his flashlight. The beam bounced wildly as he struggled. With one desperate move, Alan shoved the flashlight into the creature's mouth. It bit down, shattering the metal and glass. The beast roared and reared back. Alan scrambled to his feet and ran for the truck. Behind him, trees cracked as the thing pursued. He threw himself into the driver's seat and slammed the door shut. His trembling hands turned the key. The engine roared to life just as something heavy landed on the truck's hood. Metal bent under the impact. Through the cracked windshield, Alan saw a face no human words could properly describe. Not animal. Not of this world. He slammed the truck into reverse and hit the gas. The beast slid off, claws leaving deep scratches in the metal. Alan spun the wheel and raced down the road, blood soaking through his torn uniform. Betty, he gasped into his radio. Something's in the woods. Something, not from here. Call everyone. In orbit above Earth, Commander Vexthor received the first report from his deployed war beasts. The data showed successful adaptation to Earth's atmosphere and gravity. One beast had already encountered a human. The human had escaped, damaged, but alive. "Perfect," the commander said. "Let them spread fear first. Fear weakens resistance." How wrong he was. The Zarlak had just made the biggest mistake in their conquest history. They had just awakened humanity, the most dangerous species they would ever face. 3 months passed since the first sightings. At first, no one believed Alan Griffin, but then more reports came in. Missing hikers, dead animals torn apart in ways no Earth predator would. Strange tracks that ended suddenly, as if whatever made them had vanished into thin air. In the dense forests of Washington State, wildlife biologist Samantha Powell crouched beside what remained of an elk. The carcass was barely recognizable. She took samples and photos, her hands steady despite her racing heart. "What do you think did this?" asked her assistant, Kyle Bennett. "Nothing I've ever seen," Samantha said. She pointed to the strange marks on the bones. "These aren't tooth marks. They're too clean, almost like cuts from a machine." Samantha had studied predators for 15 years. Bears, wolves, mountain lions. She knew them all. This was different. This was wrong. Back at their research center, Samantha examined the samples. The elk's tissue showed signs of an unknown toxin. Under the microscope, she found cells she couldn't identify mixed with the elk's blood. Her phone rang. It was the search team leader. "We found Kevin," he said. His voice sounded hollow. Kevin Richards had gone missing 2 days ago while checking trail cameras. He was an experienced outdoorsman, not someone who would get lost. "Is he okay?" Samantha asked, already knowing the answer. "No, you should come see this yourself." The forest was quiet as Samantha followed the search team. Too quiet. No birds, no insects. Just the sound of their own footsteps. They stopped at a small clearing. Yellow police tape marked the area. Beyond it, Samantha saw something that would haunt her forever. Kevin's remains were scattered across the ground. His equipment lay broken nearby. But what caught her attention was the strange, shimmering substance on the leaves and dirt. It looked like oil but moved slightly on its own. "Don't touch it," she warned as a police officer reached toward the substance. "We don't know what it is." A forensic technician approached her. "Dr. Powell, we found footprints, but they're unusual." The prints were massive, with 3 long toes ending in what looked like blade marks. They appeared and disappeared randomly, as if the creature could fly or teleport. "There's something else," the technician said. He held out a bag containing a curved object about 6 inches long. It looked like a claw, but it was metallic, with tiny lines etched into the surface. "That's not from any animal on Earth," Samantha whispered. That night, similar reports came in from around the world. In Siberia, a mining camp was found abandoned, with the same strange tracks around it. In Brazil, something attacked a remote village, leaving only a few survivors who spoke of demons with metal skin. In his secure bunker beneath the Pentagon, General Pete Harris looked at the satellite images. Red dots marked attack sites across the globe. "It can't be a coincidence," he said to the assembled military and science advisors. These things appeared everywhere at once. Dr. Olivia Martinez, recently assigned to the classified xenobiology unit, pointed to the pattern on the screen. "They're avoiding major cities, staying in remote areas, but the attacks are getting closer to populated regions. They're expanding their territory." "What exactly are we dealing with, Doctor?" the general asked. "I don't know yet," she admitted. "But I have a theory. These aren't natural animals. The tissue samples show signs of artificial design. I think they were made, created for a purpose." "What purpose?" "To hunt. To prepare." She looked up at the satellite image of Earth. "I think they're clearing the way for something worse." In orbit, Commander Vexthor reviewed the war beast's progress with satisfaction. The creatures were spreading perfectly, adapting to Earth's various environments. Each beast had already killed dozens of humans and local wildlife. "The fear is spreading as planned," his lieutenant reported. "Their primitive news networks show increasing panic. Their military forces are scattered, responding to attacks in too many locations. Excellent, Vexthor said. Prepare the second wave, double the number, target locations closer to their population centers. Sir, the science officer interrupted. Some of our beasts have been killed. Vexthor turned, surprised. By what? By the humans. They're learning to fight back faster than expected. They've already developed effective tactics against the beasts. Vexthor waved away the concern. A few lucky kills mean nothing. The war beasts will adapt. The humans cannot match our technology. But a seed of doubt had been planted. These humans were proving more resourceful than anticipated. Perhaps he should pay closer attention to this conquest after all. 6 months had passed since the first sightings. What began as strange animal attacks in remote areas had become something much worse. The war beasts were moving closer to towns and cities. The first major attack happened in a small fishing village on Norway's northern coast. It was a cold, foggy morning when the creatures came from the sea. The village had just 80 people. Only 12 survived. Eric Larson, a fisherman who escaped by hiding in a freezer, told his story to the news. His hands shook as he spoke. They came with the fog, not swimming but walking on the water like it was solid ground. Their skin looked like metal but moved like flesh. Their eyes... He stopped, unable to continue for a moment. Their eyes glowed, in the dark. They hunted us one by one. Within days, similar attacks hit villages in Alaska, Chile, and Japan, always near water, always with the same terrible results. The world could no longer ignore what was happening. Dr. Olivia Martinez worked through the night in her underground lab in Colorado. Armed guards stood at the door. On the metal table before her lay a dead war beast. It had been killed when a military helicopter crashed into it, the burning wreckage somehow piercing its tough skin. Getting the creature to the lab had cost 5 more lives. Olivia carefully cut into its chest. The outer skin was like flexible armor, with layers that reminded her of both scales and circuit boards. Inside, the organs were like nothing she had seen in any Earth animal. This isn't evolution, she whispered to her assistant, Dr. Greg Fisher. This is design, engineering. Look at the symmetry in these organs, the way the muscle fibers connect to the bone structures. She pointed to a small object near what appeared to be the creature's brain. It was a metallic sphere the size of a marble. I think this is a transmitter. They're being monitored. Controlled, maybe. By what? Greg asked. Olivia looked up at him. Not what. Who? General William Ford stared at the photos spread across the table. 27 world leaders watched on secure video links. The meeting room, deep under the Pentagon, was the most secure place on Earth. But no one felt safe anymore. These creatures are not natural, he said. Dr. Martinez has confirmed they are artificial biological weapons. We believe they were created and sent here deliberately. The president leaned forward. You're saying this is an invasion? Yes, sir. But it's just the first phase. These creatures are softening us up, studying our responses, finding our weaknesses. Have we killed any of them? Asked the British Prime Minister. Some. Conventional weapons work, but not well. These things were designed to absorb damage. We need multiple direct hits with heavy weapons to take one down. And they're getting smarter, added the Russian president. The ones attacking now are different from the first wave. They've adapted to our tactics. General Ford nodded. We believe there will be more waves, each worse than the last. The Chinese leader spoke next. We have similar findings. Our scientists say these creatures share no DNA with Earth life. They are fully alien. The room fell silent. The word alien hung in the air. We need to tell the public, the president finally said. We can't hide this anymore. That night, in a historic broadcast, leaders from all major nations addressed their people together. For the first time in human history, every country delivered the same message. Earth was under attack by something not from this world. Panic spread through cities. Some people fled to the countryside. Others formed citizen defense groups. Religious leaders called for prayer. Scientists called for data. Military forces worldwide moved to high alert, but something unexpected also happened. Old enemies put aside their conflicts. Borders that had been closed for decades opened to share resources and information. The war beasts had meant to divide humanity through fear. Instead, they united it through a common threat. In his command center, Vexthor watched the humans' response with growing concern. "They're organizing faster than predicted," his tactical officer reported. "All their major nations are now sharing military strategies and scientific data." "Impossible," Vexthor said. "We specifically targeted areas controlled by different factions. They should be blaming each other, not working together." He studied the data from the war beasts' transmitters. The humans had already killed 17% of the second wave. The beasts were still winning, but not at the expected rate. "Launch the third wave immediately," he ordered. "Double their numbers again. Target their military installations directly this time." His science officer looked troubled. "Commander, I recommend we gather more data before—" "We don't need more data." Vexthor slammed his fist on the console. "We need results. The Dominion expects this planet conquered on schedule." As the new war beasts launched toward Earth, Vexthor didn't realize he was making another serious mistake. He was teaching humans how to fight a war they now knew they could win. 1 year into the war, humanity was fighting back. The early panic had turned into organized resistance. But the aliens kept sending more war beasts, each wave more dangerous than the last. In his lab at MIT, Dr. Nathan Cole hadn't slept in 3 days. Coffee cups and food wrappers littered his desk. Equations covered whiteboards on every wall. His team of scientists watched as he adjusted settings on a strange device. "Every time we kill one of these things, it emits a burst of energy," Nathan explained. "Not radiation, not electricity, something else. I think it's how they communicate with whoever sent them." He switched on the device. A screen lit up showing waves of colored light. "This can detect their energy signature from a mile away," he said, "even when they're hiding or camouflaged." His assistant, Linda Jacobs, looked skeptical. "How does that help us kill them?" "Because," Nathan said with a tired smile, "if we can detect it, we can disrupt it. And if we disrupt it, we can hurt them," Linda finished. Within a week, Nathan's tracking technology was being mass-produced in factories across the globe. Scientists in Japan, Germany, and India improved the design, making it smaller and more powerful. Former Marine sniper Lisa Benton adjusted her scope. Through it, she could see the war beast clearly. It was stalking through the ruins of a shopping mall in Dallas, unaware it was being hunted. Lisa's rifle had been modified with Dr. Cole's technology. The ammunition was specially designed to pierce the creature's tough skin. "Target in sight," she whispered into her radio. Her team of 6 former military personnel had positioned themselves strategically around the mall. Each carried a different weapon designed to attack the beasts in different ways. "Remember," Lisa said, "these things adapt. If one weapon stops working, switch to another. Keep moving. Don't let it track your pattern." She took a deep breath and fired. The bullet hit the war beast in the joint where its leg met its body. The creature roared and spun around, searching for the attacker. Before it could find Lisa, another shot came from a different direction, then another. The beast charged toward each shot but found nothing. The team kept moving, firing, and vanishing before it could locate them. After 20 minutes, the war beast lay dead, bleeding a strange blue fluid onto the concrete. Lisa's team had developed this method through painful trial and error. Traditional military tactics didn't work against the beasts, but human ingenuity, adaptability, and teamwork did. Her approach became the model for hunting teams worldwide. In Detroit, mechanic Daniel Carter wasn't a soldier or a scientist, but he knew cars. When war beasts attacked his neighborhood, he had an idea. Daniel modified his pickup truck, reinforcing it with steel plates and adding a special electrical system that could stun the beasts. He used it to evacuate families who were trapped in their homes. People noticed. Soon his garage became a workshop where regular people brought their vehicles to be turned into rescue machines or weapons carriers. Daniel posted instructional videos online. showing others how to adapt everyday items for defense. Plumbers created water cannons that sprayed chemicals harmful to the beasts. Electricians built traps using the creature's sensitivity to certain frequencies. What began as one man's idea spread across social media. A network of civilian engineers formed, supporting military efforts with homemade technology. In the Pentagon War Room, General Ford and Dr. Martinez reviewed the latest data. "The cold tracking devices are working," the general said. "Civilian casualties are down 30%. Olivia pointed to a map showing red dots where war beasts had been killed. "Look at the pattern. We're pushing them back from major population centers." "But there are still too many," Ford said. "And they're still evolving. The newest ones can partially deflect bullets." "Yes, but we're evolving too," Olivia replied. "The beasts change through programming. We change through creativity and choice. That's our advantage." She showed him reports from around the world. Innovations in weapons, tactics and defense, systems, scientists sharing discoveries, soldiers sharing battle techniques, regular people finding ways to protect their homes and families. "Humanity is more adaptable than these creatures," she said. "That's why we're starting to win." On the Dominion mothership, Commander Vexithor couldn't understand the data. The third wave of war beasts was failing. Hundreds had been killed by the humans, who seemed to be developing new weapons at an impossible rate. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "No pre-spaceflight civilization has ever resisted the war beasts so effectively." The intelligence officer, Sub-Commander Quillax, HU, aboard the massive Zarlak mothership, Commander Vexthor paced the command center. The large screen showed data from Earth and none of it made sense to him. "The war beasts are being destroyed faster than we can send them," reported his tactical officer. "Humans have developed effective weapons in just 14 Earth months." Vexthor slammed his fist against the wall. This was impossible. No pre-spaceflight species had ever fought back so effectively. His career, his reputation, his future, all were at risk if this simple conquest failed. "Send more beasts," he ordered. "Larger ones, with better armor and weapons." Sub-Commander Quillax stepped forward. Unlike Vexthor, who came from the warrior caste, Quillax was from the thinker caste. His 4 eyes were larger, his body smaller, but his mind was sharp. "Commander, with respect, I believe that would be a mistake," Quillax said. "I've been studying these humans carefully. They learn from each battle. More beasts simply means more opportunities for them to improve their defenses." Vexthor glared at the smaller alien. "What do you suggest then, thinker?" "Let me show you something." Quillax activated a screen showing humans from around the planet. "We fundamentally misunderstood them. Despite their primitive technology, they possess exceptional problem-solving abilities." The screen showed human scientists working together, across continents, sharing data instantly through their global communication network. It showed soldiers from enemy nations fighting side by side against the war beasts. It showed ordinary people building shelters and defenses with whatever materials they had. "Most concerning," Quillax continued, "is their ability to cooperate. Our data predicted they would fragment under pressure. Instead, they have formed a united global response." Vexthor watched as the humans on screen coordinated a complex attack against a group of war beasts. They used multiple weapons and tactics, adapting quickly when the beasts changed their behavior. "They're just animals," Vexthor said, but his voice lacked conviction. "No, sir," Quillax replied. "They're something we've never encountered before. They combine high intelligence with extreme adaptability and social cooperation. They learn collectively, each human building on the discoveries of others." The sub-commander showed another screen. "Their nations were divided before our arrival. Now they work as one. Their primitive governing body called the United Nations has created an Earth Defense Initiative. Resources are being shared. Scientists from rival nations collaborate freely." Vexthor fell silent. This changed everything. The Dominion's conquest model depended on division and fear. If the target species united instead of fragmented, the model failed. "Could we have made a mistake?" he finally asked. Quillax nodded. "A serious one, Commander. In New York City, The United Nations building had been transformed into the Earth Defense Initiative headquarters. Representatives from every nation met in the General Assembly Hall, now filled with military and scientific personnel. On the main stage, UN Secretary-General Maria Costa addressed the crowd. Behind her stood military leaders and scientists from countries that, just a year ago, had been bitter enemies. Today marks 1 year since we acknowledged the extraterrestrial threat, she said. 1 year since humanity put aside its differences and stood together. In that time, we have gone from victims to defenders. A large screen showed maps of war beast sightings and kills. The red dots showing beast activity had been pushed back from major cities. The blue dots showing successful kills had increased, dramatically. General Ford stepped forward. The cold tracking devices have been distributed to military units in 143 countries. Specialized ammunition designed by our international weapons team has increased kill rates by 78%. The beasts are still dangerous, but they are no longer unbeatable. Dr. Martinez presented next. Our research teams have mapped the beast's biology completely. We know their weaknesses. We understand how they communicate with their controllers. Most importantly, we've confirmed they are artificial creatures designed and released by an intelligent species. A murmur went through the crowd. Everyone knew the beasts were alien, but hearing it stated so plainly by a top scientist made it real in a new way. They're testing us, Martinez continued. These creatures are the first wave. There may be worse to come. But every beast we kill teaches us more. Every day we survive makes us stronger. In the audience, Lisa Benton, now commander of the Global Beast Hunting Corps, listened intently. Her teams had killed hundreds of the creatures. They had learned that the beasts weren't just strong, they were smart, capable of basic strategy and adapting to human tactics. But humans were smarter, more creative, more determined. As the meeting continued, Lisa made notes for her teams. New tracking data, new weapon designs, new defensive measures. The war beasts kept changing, but humans changed faster. For the first time since the invasion began, Lisa felt something she hadn't expected. Hope. Not just that humanity would survive, but that it would win. In his private chamber, Commander Vex Thor made a decision. He would delay reporting the difficulties to the High Council. He would try one more approach. If that failed, he pushed the thought away. It would not fail. The mighty Zarlak Dominion had conquered 83 worlds. Earth would be the 84th. These humans were clever, yes, but they were still primitives playing with sticks and stones compared to Zarlak technology. Weren't they? After 18 months of war, humanity moved from defense to attack. The war beasts were still dangerous, but humans had learned to fight them effectively. Now it was time to strike at their source. In the dense Brazilian rainforest, Captain Ryan Blackwood led a team of 50 Special Forces soldiers from 12 different countries. Their mission: destroy the largest known war beast breeding ground on Earth. Satellite images had shown hundreds of the creatures gathering in a remote area of the Amazon. Something was happening there. A new phase of the invasion. Ryan checked his equipment one last time. His team carried weapons designed specifically to kill war beasts. Rifles that fired specialized ammunition, sonic disruptors that confused the creature's senses, and portable versions of Dr. Cole's tracking technology. Remember, Ryan told his team as they prepared to move out, these things can adapt. If they start predicting our movements, change your pattern. If they develop resistance to one weapon, switch to another. Stay fluid, stay unpredictable. The soldiers nodded. They had all fought the beasts before. They had all lost friends to them. The world is watching, Ryan continued. If we succeed, this could be the turning point. They moved through the thick jungle in silence. The tracking devices led them toward the breeding ground. As they got closer, they saw signs of the beast's presence. Strange markings on trees, unusual tracks, dead animals with familiar wounds. 5 miles from the target, they found their first war beast. It was different from the ones they had fought. Before, bigger, with thicker armor and what looked like built-in weapons on its limbs. "They're evolving," whispered Li Chen, Ryan's second-in-command. "Getting more dangerous. Or whoever controls them is sending better versions," Ryan replied. They killed the beast quietly, using sonic weapons that didn't make noise. But as it died, its body emitted a strange pulse of energy. "It sent a signal," Ryan said. "They know. We're coming now." The team moved faster, no longer trying to hide. 1 mile from the target, they encountered heavy resistance. Dozens of war beasts rushed at them from all directions. The battle was brutal. The Special Forces team fought with skill and coordination, but the beasts were powerful. Soldiers fell. The survivors pressed on, leaving behind their wounded with medics. Finally, they reached the edge of a massive clearing. What they saw there stopped them cold. In the center of the clearing stood a structure like nothing made by human hands. It was a tower of metal and strange crystal, pulsing with energy. Around it, hundreds of war beasts gathered. But they weren't breeding. They were building. "It's some kind of transmitter," said Rita Vasquez, the team's science officer. "I think it's calling something, or someone." Ryan made a quick decision. "Plant the charges, we're taking that thing down." The team split into smaller groups, fighting their way toward the alien structure. They placed explosive charges at key points, following Rita's instructions. The war beasts defended the tower fiercely, as if they understood its importance. The 50 soldiers who started the mission, only 23 remained when the charges were finally set. Ryan gave the order to retreat, and they fought their way back through the jungle, pursued by dozens of war beasts. When they reached the minimum safe distance, Ryan pressed the detonator. The explosion lit up the night sky. The alien tower collapsed, in a spectacular display of light and sound. The energy pulse could be felt miles away. As the tower fell, something unexpected happened. The war beasts pursuing them suddenly stopped. Some fell to the ground, twitching. Others wandered aimlessly, as if lost. Without the tower to control them, they had no purpose. "It worked," Lee said, disbelief in his voice. "We actually did it." But their victory came at a high cost. 27 good soldiers would never return home. And this was just one battle in a global war. In laboratories around the world, scientists made another breakthrough. Dr. Olivia Martinez led a team studying the war beasts' biochemistry. They discovered that the creatures communicated with each other and them. With the war beasts becoming less of a threat, humanity began to look beyond Earth. The source of the invasion remained unknown, but astronomers noticed strange energy readings near Jupiter. Something large was hiding there, using the giant planet's radiation to mask its presence. Dr. Helen Wright, lead astronomer at the Global Defense Observatory, studied the unusual readings for weeks. Using a network of telescopes and newly developed sensors based on war beast technology, she finally confirmed what many had suspected. "It's a ship," she told the Earth Defense Council. "Massive in size. I believe it's the mothership controlling the war beasts." The room fell silent. Until now, the war had been fought on Earth. The idea of taking the fight to space seemed impossible. General Ford looked at the assembled leaders. "Can we reach it? Do we have the technology?" Dr. Nathan Cole stepped forward. He had aged years. In the past months, his hair now gray, his face lined with exhaustion, but his eyes still burned with the same determination. "Yes," he said simply. "Using what we've learned from the war beast and the tower we destroyed, my team has developed a prototype spacecraft. It's small, but it can reach Jupiter." Blueprints appeared on the main screen, showing a sleek craft unlike any conventional rocket or shuttle. Parts of it glowed with the same strange energy the war beasts emitted. "We've reverse-engineered their technology," Nathan explained. "Not completely, but enough to build this. We call it the Avenger." "How many people can it carry?" asked the UN Secretary General. 3, Nathan replied. "A pilot, an engineer, and a scientist. It will be a one-way trip unless we can find more alien technology to bring them home." The room erupted in discussions. It was a desperate plan, But for the first time, humans had a chance to strike directly at the invaders. 1 month later, the Avenger stood ready for launch. The world watched as 3 volunteers prepared for humanity's first interplanetary combat mission. Commander Jack Martinez, an Air Force pilot, and Dr. Olivia Martinez's husband would fly the ship. Engineer Susan Baker would handle the experimental systems, and Dr. Nathan Cole himself would go to study any alien technology they found. As they prepared to board, Jack held Olivia close. "I'll come back," he promised. "You better," she whispered. "We still have that trip to Paris to take." The launch was flawless. The Avenger shot into the sky faster than any human craft before it. Within hours, it had passed the moon. Within days, it approached Jupiter. The crew sent regular updates to Earth. Each message took longer to arrive as the distance grew. Their final transmission before going silent to avoid detection was simple. "We see it. It's massive. Going in." The Dominion. Mothership hung in Jupiter's shadow like a metal moon. Inside, Commander Vexthor faced a crisis. The war beasts were failing. The humans had destroyed the control tower, and now somehow they had built a craft capable of reaching Jupiter. "Impossible," he muttered for the 100th time. "They're primitives." "Sir," his tactical officer interrupted. "We've detected an approaching vessel, small, using energy signatures similar to our technology." "Destroy it," Vexthor ordered. "Our weapons are not responding properly. The control systems are malfunctioning. Engineering reports strange code in our main computer." Vexthor froze. Could the humans have somehow infected their systems? No, that would require understanding of Zarlak technology far beyond their capabilities. Unless... The war beasts, he realized. The humans have been studying the war beasts. Aboard the Avenger, Jack Martinez piloted the small craft toward the massive alien ship. Susan had hacked into its systems using codes derived from the war beast's transmitter implants. "They know we're here," Susan reported. "But I've disabled their defensive systems. They can't shoot us down." "Can you find a way in?" Jack asked. Susan nodded. "What looks like a landing bay? East quadrant." Jack guided the Avenger toward the opening. The ship was designed to be compatible with Zarlak technology. Thanks to Nathan's brilliant work, they docked with surprising ease. "Ready?" Jack asked his companions. They nodded, checking their weapons. They had no idea what awaited them inside, but they were prepared to fight. What they found, however, surprised them all. The ship was in disarray. Alien crew members moved frantically through corridors, alarms blared. The mighty Zarlak Dominion was panicking. "They never expected us to reach them," Nathan realized. "They have no contingency for this, using stealth, and the confusion around them, the human team made their way to what appeared to be a central database. Nathan connected their systems to it, downloading everything he could. "This is incredible," he whispered as data flooded their screens. "Star maps, technology schematics, their entire history." His expression darkened as he read further. Earth was just the beginning. These Zarlak have conquered dozens of worlds. We were meant to be just another easy victory. Susan pointed to a particular file. "What's that? It looks important." Nathan opened it. His eyes widened. "It's their fleet deployment plans. Earth isn't the only target. They have ships heading to other systems too. This is a massive expansion campaign." Jack checked his watch. "We've got 10 minutes before our extraction window closes. Download everything you can. We need to get this information back to Earth." As they worked, the ship suddenly shuddered. Warning lights flashed. "What was that?" Jack asked. Susan checked her instruments. "Something's happening. The ship's engines are activating. I think they're trying to leave Jupiter orbit." "We need to go now," Jack said. "Whatever we've got, it has to be enough." They fought their way back to the Avenger, encountering surprisingly little resistance. It seemed the Zarlak were more concerned with their ship's malfunction than with 3 human intruders. As they detached from the mothership and set course for Earth, they watched the massive alien vessel struggling to maintain stability. "Whatever," Susan had done to its systems was spreading like a virus. "We did it," Nathan said softly. "We didn't just survive their attack. We struck back." The journey home would be long, but they carried with them the key to humanity's survival, and perhaps its future among the stars. 5 years passed since the Avenger mission returned with the stolen Zarlak data. The war beasts were gone now, eliminated by the countermeasures developed from Dr. Martinez's research. Commander Vexthor and his mothership had fled the solar system, recalled by the Dominion's High Council to explain his humiliating failure. But Earth had changed forever. Using the alien technology reverse-engineered from the war beasts and the data from the mothership, humanity made leaps that would have taken centuries. In a sprawling facility outside Houston, Dr. Nathan Cole stood before his greatest achievement. The massive ship gleamed under the bright lights, its hull marked with the United Earth emblem, a globe surrounded by stars. "The Defender," Nathan said proudly to the group of officials touring the facility. "Our first true faster-than-light vessel." Among the officials was Olivia Martinez, now director of the Global Advanced Sciences Division. "How many more are under construction?" she asked. 5, Nathan replied. "By next year, we'll have a fleet of 12. The colony ships will follow." It seemed impossible that just 5 years ago, humans had been fighting for survival against alien monsters. Now they were preparing to establish their first settlements beyond the solar system. Later that day, Nathan sat alone in his office, looking at old photos. So many friends lost in the war. So many brilliant minds who never saw what their sacrifice had achieved. His door opened and Susan Baker walked in. After helping hack the Zarlak mothership, she had become Earth's foremost expert on alien computer systems. "The final test was successful," she said. "The Defender can reach Alpha Centauri in 10 days. Nathan nodded. "And the defense systems?" "Better than anything the Zarlak had. We learned from their mistakes." She smiled slightly. "They thought their technology was so advanced. They never imagined we could improve on it." 10 years after the first war beast appeared on Earth, humanity had established its first colonies on habitable worlds in nearby star systems. A fleet of ships patrolled the solar system, ready to defend against any new threats. Earth itself had been transformed. The war had united humanity in ways nothing else could have. Old conflicts seemed petty compared to the fight for survival against an alien menace. Resources once spent on fighting each other were now directed toward exploration and advancement. In a garden outside the new United Earth headquarters in Geneva, Alan Griffin sat on a bench. Now in his 60s, the former park ranger walked with a limp, a permanent reminder of his encounter with the first war beast. He had become something of a living legend, the first human to face the alien threat and survive. A shadow fell across him. Alan looked up to see a tall figure unlike any human. The alien had 4 eyes set in a wide face, grayish skin, and wore formal attire marked with unfamiliar symbols. "May I join you?" the alien asked in slightly accented English. Alan nodded, hiding his surprise. This was Krelvon, the first official diplomat from the Galactic Alliance to visit Earth. The Alliance was a coalition of spacefaring species that had contacted Earth after learning of the Zarlak defeat. "Beautiful garden," Krelvon commented as he sat down carefully on the human-designed bench. "It's a memorial," Alan explained, "for those lost in the war." The alien was silent for a moment. "My people have observed your species for some time. Even before the Zai,